Nevada, Las Vegas live. It's the Wanda B and Marcel show. And guess what people are saying about us? Check it out. They love us. What people are saying about Wanda and Marcel.
What's up, Savvy?
You ever done me that before? I love that. Savvy, yeah.
Why do you like the show, though? Tell us.
Y'all are funny. Y'all are cool. Y'all get me a giggling, and I love to laugh.
Now, Mary, I encountered you the other day.
I told a whole room of like 50 people, I'm trying to grow up and be like new media.
Oh, shit.
All right. I like that.
That was perfect.
You're listening to NuMediaTech.
Let's get it, boy.
Wanda B and Marcel. That's right. And don't forget, tonight is the wind down, baby.
NuMediaTech, take one.
I'ma need you to download it.
Download the app today. K-Tel presents the hits
I'ma
from...
need you to download this app.
Yeah, that's right.
Show presents Wind Down Wednesdays. Each
Get
and every
ready.
Wednesday, 10 p.m. Eastern. All right, so go to NuMediaTech.net and download the live streaming radio station app. Get ready to wind down with featured guest, sexologist Sean Wilson. TheBedroomBlueprint.com. Go to the website and check it out. All right, so get ready. Wednesday, every Wednesday, 10 p.m. Eastern, Wind Down Wednesdays.
Yeah, baby, that is Wind Down Wednesdays. Okay. Woo! Time to kick off this incredible show. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce to you guys. What I hate crickets. I hit the wrong thing. Listen, we got a special guest in the studio today, y'all. Coming to y'all live, all the way live. This lady is an incredible person, and she's putting it down for everybody. Everybody's got to understand a few things. Look, you can always learn something, and this lady can help you with that, all right? She's got some stuff going on. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hand together right now. Y'all make some noise for the one, the only, Stacey. What's going on, Stacey? How you doing? You all right this morning?
What's up, Wanda B? Wanda B and Marcel. Hello.
Girl, we are doing good, and we just gave you that lovely introduction. And now, without further ado, y'all, coming to the stage, the lady beside Stacey, the incredible Wanda B. Oh, yeah, baby. Woo! She tried to say I was going to church this morning because I put a shirt on with a collar. Really Wanda B. Really Wanda B.
You look at extra fancy. You got an interview, don't you? You got a job interview. You going to
Got a
church.
job interview and going to work at Pizza Hut. Deliver it.
Not in no suit, you not in that dress. Shirt.
All right, so there it is. Wanda B, man. We're going to have some fun tonight, y'all. Stand by. We're going to talk about that. Also, let me shout out my man, the Mellow, the brother who keeps us together. His name is Joselin. Joselin.
¿Qué pasa? What's happening?
What's the word, man? Thank you for being here. He's the guy that, look, man, when it comes to marketing, listen, I'm telling you, hold on, let me get up on the big screen. I'm telling you right now, listen to the words coming out of my mouth. Can you see the words coming out of my mouth or something like that? If you need somebody, seriously, somebody to help you out with your marketing, man, Joselin is the guy who can help you out. All right, for real. And y'all look him up, find him up. He going to put his information up there because this brother knows some stuff, man. We wouldn't even have but two people in there, and that would be me and Wanda if it wasn't for him. I'm just trying to tell y'all what it is, all right? You want to know what it is? Damn it, that's what it is. All right?
What it is.
So we're going to start this show off, man. We are blessed to have all these great, talented people in the building. And without further ado, look, I want to get into this, right? Here, let me go over here to where I got you all set up over here because I want to find out a little bit about what you've got going on now. You've got this here. Let me just shrink this down a little bit. Hang on, everybody. Let me get my screen stuff together, my screenshots and everything. Now, you got a website called My Preppa. Hold on, let me get it right. PrepAcademy.com. Remember we talked about this, Stacey? PrepAcademy.com. She said people can't. Never, I'm going to say what she didn't say. But
I'll say it. Look, I'll say
it. .com. And I'm one of those people, apparently. And it says achieving success one goal at a time. You're doing some incredible stuff. Let's just jump right in. Tell us about what My Prep Academy NuMediaTech's.com is all about. Go ahead.
Okay, great. Thank you, Marcel. Well, first of all, I am happy to be here, and I'm really happy to be here with Wanda B and Marcel. They are the bomb.com. And and I'll just start by saying Achievers Preparatory Academy was birthed out of a place of needing to homeschool my children. I also come from corporate America, so I have a background in various industries, but it's pretty much surrounding business. And I've helped a lot of people with startups and all of those types of things. So it just became a natural progression to merge. There it is, to merge Achievers Prep, which is our homeschool, with what I do and who I am. And I am the business lady. I mean, that's what I'm all about. And I've converted and become the education lady.
Now we're
so it.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Go keep on.
Yeah, no. So it was.
Go ahead.
It was basically birthed out of a need to educate my children in a new way for a new day.
Go ahead now. In a new way for a new day. You know what I mean? That could be. You know what? You just said something. You just said something that we can use. I'm telling you right now, we're going to use that one, right? Birth your kids for a new day in a new way. Yeah, I like that right there, girl. You put me on to something. All right, let me play this video. This video is good.
Albert Einstein once.
Is this cool to play this video, though, first? Let me make sure.
Oh, yes.
All right, we don't want to. I'm sure
I've reached out to him multiple times, so he should know by now.
All right, cool. Let's play this video and see what we got. Hey, it just ended on me. What the heck?
Started at the beginning, Marcel. Let's drag left.
You get somebody a show, they can't even do the show right? Then what happened to it all? Is this it right here? I guess this is it, right?
Drag left.
That's a whole nother.
Dear future generations.
Go back.
All right, I'm going back. So which one is it? Which one is it? Ladies and gentlemen, hold
on.
Wait a minute.
Let me explain. The people versus the school system.
Ladies and gentlemen, we really don't have any idea what we're doing here. We're trying to do a show. We don't know what we're doing. Okay, so just don't expect too much, all right? I'm sorry. Back to you, ma'am. Now, you said drag left, go where, right to the who, what?
The school system. The people versus the school system.
The people versus the school system.
Albert Einstein once said,
here we go. Let's listen.
Everybody's a genius.
Check it out.
But if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it is stupid. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, today on trial we have modern day schooling. Glad you could come. Not only does he make fish climb trees, but also makes them climb down and do a 10-mile run. Tell me, school, are you proud of the things you've done? Turning millions of people into robots, do you find that fun? Do you realize how many kids relate to that fish? Swimming upstream in class, never finding their gifts, thinking they are stupid, believing they are useless? Well, the time has come, no more excuses. I call school to the stand and accuse him of killing creativity, individuality, and being intellectually abusive. He's an ancient institution that has outlived his usage. So, Your Honor, this concludes my opening statement. And if I may present the evidence of my case, I will prove it.
Proceed.
Exhibit A. Here's a modern day phone. Recognize it? Here's a phone from 150 years ago. Big difference, right? Stay with me. Here's a car from today. And here's a car from 150 years ago. Big difference, right? Well, get this. Here's a classroom of today. And here's a class we used 150 years ago.
Whoa!
Now, ain't that a shame? In literally more than a century, nothing has changed. Yet you claim to prepare students for the future? But with evidence like that, I must ask, do you prepare students for the future or the past? I did a background check on you and let the record show that you were made to train people to work in factories, which explains why you put students in straight rows, nice and neat, tell them sit still, raise your hand if you want to speak, give them a short break to eat, and for 8 hours a day, tell them what to think. Oh, and make them compete to get an A, a letter which determines product quality, hence grade A of meat. I get it. Back then, times were different. We all have a past. I myself am no Gandhi. But today, we don't need to make robot zombies. The world has progressed. And now we need people who think creatively, innovatively, critically, independently, with the ability to connect. See, every scientist will tell you that no two brains are the same. And every parent with 2 or more children will confirm that claim. So please explain why you treat students like cookie cutter frames or snapback hats, giving them this one-size-fits-all crap.
Watch your language.
Sorry, Your Honor. But if a doctor prescribed the exact same medicine to all of his patients, the results will be tragic. So many people would get sick, yet when it comes to school, this is exactly what happens. This educational malpractice where one teacher stands in front of 20 kids, each one having different strengths, different needs, different gifts, different dreams, and you teach the same thing the same way? That's horrific. Ladies and gentlemen, the defendant should not be acquitted. This may be one of the worst criminal offenses ever to be committed. And let's mention the way you treat your employees.
Objection. Overruled. I want to hear this.
It's a shame. I mean, teachers have the most important job on the planet, yet they're underpaid? No wonder so many students are short-changed. Let's be honest, teachers should earn just as much as doctors, because a doctor can do heart surgery and save the life of a kid, but a great teacher can reach the heart of that kid and allow him to truly live. See, teachers are heroes that often get blamed, but they're not the problem. They work in a system without many options or rights. Curriculums are created by policymakers, most of which have never taught a day in their life. Just obsessed with standardized tests. They think bubbling in a multiple choice question will determine success. That's outlandish. In fact, these tests are too cruel to be used and should be abandoned, but don't take my word for it. Take Frederick J. Kelly, the man who invented standardized testing, who said, and I quote, "These tests are too cruel to be used and should be abandoned." Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, if we continue down this road, the results will be lethal. I don't have much faith in school, but I do have faith in people. And if we can customize healthcare, cars, and Facebook pages, then it is our duty to do the same for education, to upgrade it, change it, do away with school spirit, because that's useless. Unless we're working to bring the spirit out of each and every student, that should be our task. No more Common Core. Instead, let's reach the core of every heart in every class. Sure, math is important, but no more than art or dance. Let's give every gift an equal chance. I know this sounds like a dream, but countries like Finland are doing impressive things. They have shorter school days. Teachers make a decent wage. Homework is non-existent, and they focus on collaboration instead of competition. But here's the kicker, boys and girls. Their educational system outperforms every other country in the world. Other places like Singapore are succeeding rapidly. Schools like Montessori, programs like Khan Academy, there is no single solution. But let's get moving, because while students may be 20% of our population, they are 100% of our future. So let's attend to their dreams, and there's no telling what we can achieve. This is a world in which I believe. A world where fish are no longer forced to climb trees. I'll rest my case.
Damn.
Drop the mic.
He said a world where fish are no longer forced to climb trees. That said it right there. That did the whole
my
thing.
name is Prince EA,
Listen,
and
hold
I
on,
want to
listen
say
a little
thank you
more.
so much for watching my video.
Oh, you
But
got it,
now,
brother.
I want to know what you think. How can we together create a more efficient, effective, and just better future of learning? I want you to visit nestday.com/preorder the future and share your thoughts and ideas on.
Yeah, we're going to definitely go there, man. Look, hey, once again. All right, so this is going to be one of those interviews. All right, let me just tell y'all right now, this is going to be one of those. Real quick, let me just say hey to a few people that's hanging out with us, and we call them supporters. You know, they're not just hanging out, they're supporting us by being here. So the people in the room here, man, we appreciate each and every one of you in the spaces, overflow. We got the mics turned on. If you want to talk and you're in listening mode, just go ahead and click on it and, you know, request to speak, and then we got you. Also, you can see all of this live. If some of you are wondering what you're listening to and you would like to see this gentleman, we're live. All you got to do is go to the Twitter page and just click on my profile. It's right under that magnificent promo that you'll see this pinned there. All right, so make sure you check it out. Big shouts out to Granny. Granny's always over there with the visuals. So we just try to make it where we can see everything. Now, we got a special guest in the studio. Her name is Stacey, and this is why we played all of this, because Stacey is one of these people that's really trying to make a difference, and that young man who very eloquently dropped all of those gems on us is a part of that. Obviously, it's on her website. So I don't even know where to start. Wanda, where do we start? It's so much to start with. Like, obviously you must have had kids and said, hey, look, we got to do better. But like, everybody thinks that, but nobody does anything. What made you do something? What made you say, I got to do something?
Well, it actually stems from my own educational journey. I had a unique educational experience in the sense that I grew up in a predominantly white area, and there were very few blacks. And of the few blacks that were there, it was a consensus that we weren't very smart. So when I won't tell what years it was, but in the area, there was a program that had just come about, which was called Gifted and Talented at the time. And they came through all the school systems all across the country,
I
actually.
remember the GATE
And
program. Yeah.
you remember? Yeah, you remember that. That was part of Gifted and Talented.
Yeah.
hmm And they were going and testing students, right? And so they came to our school and they tested all of the students from start to finish. And I went to a school that had all the way to 8th grade. And I scored, along with two other people in the whole school, the highest. And when they came to give the results, they came into the room and they told my teacher they were having a big conversation and they were saying there must be a mistake.
What?
There must have been a problem.
Wow.
And then they said, oh, they know what it was, because there was a young lady who was Caucasian that they expected, because of her grades, to be in that top percentage. And they said, obviously, the tests got mixed up and the names got mixed up. But if you recall, that was very hard to do because you had to color in the little circles with the number 2 pencil.
Yeah.
So it was obvious at some point that it was my test and that I had, in fact, scored the highest. And they had to allow me into the program. And it was just the whole disdain that I experienced for being in the program, and it stayed with me, because once you started in the program, you continued all the way through high school. So I became known as that, I was the only one in my class, the only person of color, a brown person in my class, all the way through the program, all the way through high school. And I saw that happening with my children when I grew up and had my own children. And I also saw the struggle that my son was having with bullies and being able to fit in and being able to sit still. And he's just very active, and he had a very active mind. And he just was not able to stick to the stringent regimen that a traditional school was offering him. And yet at 4 years old, he was able to read on a 5th grade level.
Wow.
And yet they would come to me and tell me how they were going to fail him on other subjects. Maybe it was math, or I don't remember exactly what it was. But, I later found out that my son was on the autism spectrum. Although he is very articulate, because coming from a mother like me, he just, I was pushing him early on to speak and articulate and communicate. And I gave him tools. I gave him the tools to do so when he wasn't verbal. I taught him how to sign, so he was able to communicate through sign language. So I early on realized that we are learners by nature, just by the way that we are created.
That's amazing.
I love it.
I got to just tell you seriously, though, to be able to hear what you're saying, and because like everybody, I said it earlier, everybody knows this is a problem. Like everybody, there's not one person who will hear this and say, yeah, I don't see what the real issue is. We got this. Or, how people generally look at things, but there's nobody, I don't think, who would just go past saying you're right and this is a problem. But almost everybody does nothing, including me. Like, I know it's a problem. What have I done? I haven't lifted a finger. Now, that's not to make myself feel bad or any of you, but for you to be out here and build, I guess, a business or just something around that is incredible, man, for real. Like, that's amazing to me. And that's crazy. Wanda, you now, Wanda, I know you were we talked about this before. Wanda was pretty good in school, right? I did my thing in school. I was one of those kids that I talk now. And it worked out for me. I've been doing radio for 31 years. They used to always try to shut me up. I mean, you got to have some order in class. But I was the one trying to crack jokes. Sit down, boy. Right? But what I'm saying is, Wanda, when you hear somebody like this that's doing something for, and this is not just for the community, this is for the country, right? How does it make you feel?
Well, for me, I've lived this. I live this. I have children. I have a son, and I have 4 children, and 2 of them had learning differences. And they sat in classrooms, and they wouldn't even know my son. He would be quiet, but he wasn't picking it up. And I transferred my younger daughter to. I put them in the Montessori program, and I've dealt with a lot of this of trying to learn that all children don't learn the same, and that a lot of schools are just not equipped to. The teacher told me I have 30 students, I can't modify this. They have to teach towards the middle, she told me. So if you fall below, then she doesn't have time to work with them. So I had to take him out of that school and put him in a school that could better assist him. And both now, one in college, one my daughter, and the other one, I have a graduate from college. But these are people that they told me couldn't learn at one point in time. They wanted to retain him, and so I've definitely lived with. And then I had another child who was doing excellent. So my younger daughter would feel the backlash of her older sister who was doing so well in school and she wasn't. So they like say nasty things to her because she. So I've lived this, and this is a subject that is so dear to my heart of learning how to teach our children when all children just don't learn the same, and how to recognize, how to reach them, how to teach them. So I just absolutely adore what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think though, what I struggled with, so I'd like to hear how you did this. What made you, I struggled with when I thought about homeschooling, I struggled with having my own self-confidence that I could teach him everything he needed to know. I'm like, I'm not a teacher. I don't know how to teach him this. And I would get frustrated even myself before I knew he had learning differences with you think, is he just this or is he not this? How did you determine that? How did you even have that confidence to go, okay, I'm going to do this myself. How did that start, Stacey?
Well, I that's a very good question. And I talk to people all the time, and that is usually the consensus between everybody. Well, and I would have to say this, it wasn't easy. There's a process to this whole thing. The process is retraining the mind and getting rid of the brainwashing that's been done to us, individually and as a people. So the first thing you have to do is you have to do a process called deschooling. You have to, because when I first started, I tried to recreate the school environment in my home. That if it didn't work there, it's not going to work here because the location wasn't the issue. The issue was the process itself. So when I realized, and spiritually speaking, I had to go to the Bible on this. Spiritually speaking, I realized that we were created to learn. I mean, and just naturally, if you had never heard of a thing called school, if you had never heard of a school system and you never knew about anything like that, just by the nature of being a parent, you would prepare your child for whatever is to come. You would prepare your child for the next steps, just as generations have done it, and just as it was done even during slavery. I mean, they didn't even have access to the school system, but they still taught the children. So I think today, the school system that we know as it is today is antiquated. And I believe it doesn't satisfy what the children are going to need in the future. And it doesn't even satisfy them for today. And that's why it was so disruptive when COVID happened. COVID was really the catalyst that moved me forward in everything that I was doing. I realized that I was already teaching my children from birth everything that they needed to know as far as being able to communicate, being able to read and write. I was teaching them that. When it comes to all the other things that they learn in school, at the end of the day, all of those things are not necessarily going to shape and build them, because much of that information will be lost. Let's just be frank. And a lot of people go to school and then end up doing things in their careers that totally differ from what they learned. But I believe if a child has access to information, if a child has access, they will, and interest, if they are engaged, they will acquire the information. I mean, we're just naturally wired that way. So I think for me, it was just, my own experience coupled with the fact that if I did not know what my child needed, what would I do? as a mother, I would try to find what it is my child needs. So if there's an area that I can't teach myself, then we live in the most wonderful time ever. We have the internet. We have applications and programs that connects us. It connects us locally, it connects us nationally, and it connects us globally. So if you don't have the information, you hire someone who does. If you're not a plumber, you can't solve your own plumbing issues, you hire a plumber. If you're sick, you go see a doctor. So it for me, it was a natural thing that if there was something my child needed to know that I didn't have personal knowledge of or enough to teach them, then I would seek that through the internet and find a resource to help them.
Wow. In case you're just tuning in real quickly, everybody in Spaces and the people that's on the New Media Tech or NuMediaTech.net live stream in Twitter, we have a very, very, very special guest here in the studio. You're looking at her. If you're watching the show, her name is Stacey, and she is doing some phenomenal stuff. I want you guys to keep up. That's Wanda B right there. Go ahead, Wanda B. I'm sorry. I just wanted to make sure everybody understood what was going on here.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
So we've been talking about just education and your virtual homeschool. So I noticed your website. So are people able to join? It said community, a virtual community. So are parents able to, the virtual homeschool community, join the community with you to help them through this process?
Absolutely. I am currently in the Central Florida area near Orlando, and I am building a virtual homeschool community. When we moved here several years ago, and once I made the decision to homeschool the children, I just found that it was difficult to communicate with other families that looked like mine. Okay. And who had some of the same belief systems. It was very difficult, and I wanted to eliminate the the isolation that one might feel to take on this type of journey, because until we get to a place where there is specific types of education that speaks to the ways that our children learn and the differences that our children experience and that we all experience as human beings, there has to be a way for us to come together and collaborate.
Is there a way to link? Are there other chapters of this in other states, or can my people in Chicago link on to you there since it's virtual? Can you help them where you're in Florida? Does that matter where the person is located to use it?
Now, it only matters with regard to the homeschool laws in each particular state because they vary. But other than that, support is universal. So because of the advent of the internet and the way that we can all contact each other, it can be anyone from anywhere can join our virtual homeschool community. We actually have some people in our community and in our network from Canada and the UK. So absolutely. The point is having support and having each other's backs and having resources and having the information and the connectivity of each other.
What I think is so helpful for this is right now people have been put into this circumstance with COVID-19 where they are now homeschoolers, whether they wanted to be or not. With your children staying home, I know I still have, my youngest is 14, that I've had to be more of a teacher than ever before. And I know friends who have multiple children at home, all different grade levels they're working with this situation. Can they join this community even if they're not full-time homeschoolers, but they are within this COVID-19 where they now have to be kind of put into the role of it?
Absolutely, because the whole point is to provide support, to provide resources. And let's just face it, as parents, we are teachers by default. So, whether you're doing it full time or whether you've decided to allow your children to go back into a brick and mortar school situation with a physical learning, it's still your responsibility ultimately for your child to learn. So, and that can be a very isolating thing. So our community exists to support parents in their roles as parents and as the first educators our children know.
I know we're going to do this again, but I want it right now so I can hear it multiple times. How can they reach out? How can they join this community?
They can always go to my website. It's myprepacademy.net. and there's a virtual homeschool community link right at the top. They can click that link, they can subscribe to our newsletter, they can get involved in our email program, and we'll be emailing when we have activities. When the country opens back up and things are moving, and we're able to meet in person, we'll be having gatherings and we'll be doing lots of things for the kids and just having fellowship with each other so we can support each other in person.
So if there's a parent who's since like now I know a lot of people who are saying I don't think I want to put my children back into the brick and mortar school anymore. A lot of parents are changing their mind. Do you have any suggestions, tips that could help them decide or maybe to make that decision?
Well, we absolutely do. We have a network of homeschool moms that run the gamut from they've already graduated 2 or more children from their homeschool, and they can provide that support and the information to help you feel comfortable in making a decision. And at the end of the day, it's really about trial and error at this point, because everything it's brand new. COVID is new for us. Being quarantined was new. And this advent of now everyone becoming homeschoolers or finding some form of alternative education, that is new as well. So we have to give each other some grace and just share information. That is what the primary goal is to share information, connect with each other, and make each other, as knowledgeable as we can about the options, because that is the most empowering thing you can do for someone, is let them know what their options are and show them where they can find the resources to get the information.
All right. Once again, myprepacademy.com. 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 Just go there for more information, and you can call in as well, 877-482-7898 if you want to speak to. I know Granny was saying that you, Stacey, are her new best friend. And a lot of people will probably most likely have that sentiment, because this is just something you can just say new. There aren't a lot of people who are dedicating time and their efforts to, forward this agenda. And we got to applaud you, because, it's just what
Absolutely.
It is. Thank you.
You're encouraging and uplifting for parents who are struggling at this time and trying to decide what they will do with their children. Because I know so many people going through this with their children right now and looking for ways. And other parents sometimes don't know how to encourage them because we're going through the same thing. So I just love that you have created a place and a space for people to reach out to, because there's nothing more frustrating than watching your child be frustrated with school. It breaks your heart to watch it, to hear it of other children. So I so applaud what you're doing, and I really hope people reach out during these difficult times of having to or dealing with a child that's in a brick and mortar and not being successful, and you just want them to be successful. And I remembered someone telling me, your son reads slow, so he should read last. So my son would come home and say, Mommy, I read slow. And I was like, where did you get that from? And to find out his second grade teacher told him that. And so so many of our children struggle with, and you mentioned it in your own schooling, that they have lower expectations of Black and brown children a lot of times. So I just really applaud this, that there's an alternative, and you created an alternative. So
Yes, indeed.
Tips, what can you give for us struggling parents out here?
First things first, knowledge is power, right? Knowledge is always power. So the first thing you would need to do is get on the internet and search and find out what the laws are regarding homeschool in your area, in your state, in your district, in your county. Find out what the laws are. Find out what your options are. A lot of times homeschool may not be the option. There may be charter schools in some areas that are the option. There may be other specialized education. There could be private tutoring that could be paid for through your local school system. So there are so many options out there. The best thing I would say, and the first tip I would give, is knowledge is power. Educate yourself on your options, and then you free yourself from the chains of having to do what is considered the norm. And then you can do something that's more specialized and that fits your family.
Yeah, we got Granny in the Spaces room, and I know she wanted to say something. Go ahead, Granny, because I know you're on fire. This is right. Look, a lot of people understand what's going on with this, and this is the time to raise your voice, lift your voice, and say what you got to say, because that's what it's all about. Or I guess she's calling in on this number here. Or if Granny, if you're in there in the Spaces, we can take you from there as well. It doesn't matter. For some reason, it's not ringing to the phone that we have set up for it to ring to, and I don't know why, but 877-482-7898. We're going to keep trying that number. Go ahead, though. This is very, very interesting. It's very important, and, we laugh and joke, and we have a ball on this show, but sometimes, we got to break it down and talk about the issues that are really serious, that need that attention. And I'm so glad, Stacey, that you decided to share with us today all of this. We've been trying to get you on for a little while too, and I'm glad today was that day. And Wanda B, like you said, you've got kids, and the whole deal. And even if you don't have kids, some like me. I know people who got kids. I know people. I got nephews and niece. It's just so important. Why do we live in a country like we live in today, and this country is a very, very rich country still. I don't know what you thought, because you see some homeless people. This country is oozing money, okay? Trust me. It's just how they distribute it is a problem, but oozing money. And how in the hell can we live in a country like this and then have such a problem? You heard the young gentleman break it down. I was listening to that, and I was like, because the thing is, we just don't think of it like that, right? When he broke it down, I was like, damn. He showed the cars today. Man, look what I drive, right? That's the first thing we do. Then he showed, different things like that. And then he showed the schools, the same damn school system. Look, that right there did the whole thing for me. I was done after that. I was like, man, President, what's his name? I don't even know the dude's name. Dude should be president next week. What is
Prince
it?
EA. Prince EA.
He should be President Prince EA next week. They should just give
right.
Biden, put this young gentleman in there, because it's incredible to me. Yeah.
I agree. Any questions of people out there in the Spaces land for Stacey, if you have them?
Or any of y'all.
What y'all want to say? I'm excited, Stacey, because you've given me I'm feeling a little like there's light in a tunnel, that I can start reaching out to my friends and who are saying, what should I do? Whether they're thinking about homeschooling, where they just need to advocate in the situation. You mentioned some things that I definitely have tried, where I moved my one son to a much smaller school. It only had 50 people, but it worked best for him. And then my other children, I put in Montessori or tutoring. I did for 3 out of the 4. I mean, you really have to get creative, get knowledgeable. Knowledge, like you said, knowledge is the best thing for whatever you're doing in life. The internet is our friend now. You have to go to the library like we had to do and find a book. You can just pick up your phone and get an answer.
Yes,
so
sir.
I love that we have those options. So
we got Granny on the line too. Granny, go ahead. I got you. Finally got a passion. She called a couple of times, and I wanted to get her in. Go ahead, Granny. How you doing today?
I'm doing amazing. Stacey, I wanted to know if your programs work with parents like me. And now my child is also autistic, my 6-year-old son, but he's considered more of the severe end. So he's nonverbal. He can't even be potty trained yet, like that, into that severity. I'm having such problems with this public school. It has been since November, when he turned 6, when they said I had to forcibly put him in public school. Now, they can't even find a school to place him in. So he's been sitting here since November with no school, no nothing, just me teaching him as much as I can do for what I can do, because I ain't got I'm not a teacher, I'm not a certified teacher, so I'm doing the best I can at home with him. But what would you suggest for that? Like, I need to get him out of these public school systems. I already had a fight last time he was in public school in another city because the teacher mistreated him, and I pulled him out immediately. So what can you help me? Because you're my new best friend, I'm telling you.
Well, thank you, Granny. Thank you, Granny. And you know, I would say I have had the very same journey. I mean, we went through all different types of schools. The first thing I would say is, you have to find out what is available in your local area, in your school district, in your county, and in your state. Beyond that, there are obviously resources for disabled children. And if your child is deemed disabled, there are therapies that can help support you with homeschool as well, and being able to help him through whatever challenges he's facing. Yes, my child is verbal, but he also has therapy as well, because there are other behavioral issues and emotional issues that stem from his being on the spectrum that also prevent him from learning in the traditional way. So I have found that through his diagnosis. Now, I'd be careful with having too many diagnoses, because we know what that is all about and how that
Yes.
can go and where that can lead. But his primary diagnosis paves the way for getting the resources and the therapies in place to help with the schooling. And then my last suggestion would be to reach out to the National Autism Center, because they have the resources for all 50 states throughout the United States to help you find a school and a program that is specifically geared towards your child and his abilities, to try to get them to the next level. And that is where I would start. If I were to lock arms with you, the first thing I would do is, like I said, knowledge is power. If I were to lock arms with you, the first thing I would do is we would do some research and we would figure out just exactly what your options are. A lot of times we think we are limited because we just don't know what's out there. We are chained to the information we've been fed, if you will. So you have to first change your mindset, stop going along with the status quo, and realize that there are options. We live in a global society. There are options, and you can find resources, and we can help you do that.
Oh, that's amazing. That's exactly what I needed to hear, because I am one of those who felt limited. I feel frustrated and limited in everything that I have personally tried. I have tried to research homeschools that will allow autistic children with his severity, and it has just been a constant brick wall. And I'm like, Lord, there's got to be something better for my son. He's too smart for the stuff that the programs that they throw him in. He gets bored. He's obviously bored, and they're telling me, no, that's a behavior issue. No, my son is bored. He said, I learned this. Give me something new.
I would also want you to participate in something we call deschooling, because the way that we think of education needs to change. We think of education in terms of subjects and letter grades and percentages. That is not necessarily how we should be thinking of education when it comes to a child that experiences and learns differently. And experiences for your child experiences life as a whole in a different way than the rest of us. So we have to understand that education needs to look differently for him than it might for someone else.
And that's okay.
And that's fine. And that's okay.
All right, Granny.
Thank you so much, Stacey.
Thanks for calling too, Granny. We
You're
appreciate
welcome.
you.
Thank you.
Definitely. Wow, this is so important, so educational, and we're just glad that people take the time to call in and be a part of it. Hey, look real quickly, because we're almost at the end of the show. This is something that we definitely want to make sure we get in when we do shows like this. But I got a quick reminder here. Don't forget, later on tonight, we are going to have Sean Wilson. She's going to be in to talk with us a little bit. We're going to do a nice laid-back, slow jam type of thing, and it's going to be good, educational too, in a way that with relationships and all of that. So we're going to have Sean Wilson in, and she's going to talk to us a little bit. Wanda B, Marcel, we're doing it at night, y'all. We're going to get on the radio, and Wanda B, I hope you're ready for that, right? You are, right?
I'm ready for Wind Down Wednesday. I'm already feeling like winding down right now, actually. But no, it should be very. Sean Wilson, she's a certified sexologist. She is amazing with just how knowledgeable she is and how she gives you the information. And it's going to be an interesting, fun, relaxing time. So I'm really excited for it.
There you go. Hey, look, check this out, right? If you got questions, you're in Spaces. We're packed in Spaces. Got a lot of people in there. If you got some questions, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back, and we're going to come back to you with your questions. Anything you want to ask Stacey, she's here for you, so stand by.
It's Wanda B with the buzz, Monday through Friday. Don't forget, share it out, retweet, do what you got to do. It's Wanda B Buzz with the buzz.
That's right, the buzz is coming up, but first,
The Wanda B and Marcel Show
tonight
presents Wind Down Wednesdays. Each and every Wednesday, 10 p.m. Eastern. All right, so go to NuMediaTech.net and download the live streaming radio station app. Get ready to wind down with featured guest, sexologist Sean Wilson. TheBedroomBlueprint.com. Go to the website and check it out. All right, so get ready. Wednesday, every Wednesday, 10 p.m. Eastern, Wind Down Wednesdays.
yeah, that's going on tonight. And if you need to know how to get the app,
Fake Bruno Mars, New Media
Here we
Tech, take
go.
one.
I'ma need you to download it. I'ma need you to download this app.
any excuse to play my little promo, any excuse at all, you know what I mean?
It cracks me up every single time I see
That's
that.
right.
Oh, that's hilarious.
That's right. That's what it is. All right, we're ready for the buzz, y'all. If y'all ready, I'm ready.
It's Wanda
If you're
B
not
with
ready,
the buzz,
better get
Monday
ready.
through Friday. Don't forget, share it out, retweet, do what you got to do. It's Wanda B Buzz with the buzz.
Okay, what's buzzing today, guys, is that Colton Underwood, he was on season 2018 of The Bachelorette, and then season 23, he was The Bachelor. He has revealed today to Robin Roberts on Good Morning America that he is actually gay. He said that he found out during the pandemic. He kind of felt this way for a long time, and he was running from himself. And now he has come to terms with it. And it was a hot topic on one of the seasons because of his virginity. And that played a big part of it. So now maybe it becomes a little bit an explanation of why he was still a virgin. Not that there's anything wrong with being a virgin, but it just may be. And he actually chose Casey as someone. They didn't get engaged, but they were dating, and they had a really kind of rough breakup. But that was revealed this morning. It was on a special with Robin Roberts on Good Morning America.
Hey, you know what? With so many people being gay in our society now, why is it still a big news thing? I mean, it is. It is a big news thing, but why, though? Why do you think it's still like, guess who's gay, right? Like, I mean, there's so many people that's gay.
I agree. It should be no big deal, but I think the only thing with him is that he was on The Bachelor and he dated 20-something women. I mean, he was going to get engaged to a woman, and never revealed that he was gay. So it shouldn't be news, really. But
yeah, but that's the story right there that he would, because that's really not being genuine. Then, like, he was, kind of courting these ladies, or okay, I get it. So I was just curious.
Yeah, so that part of it was kind of that he was, and he said he knew since he was like 6, and then he said that in high school he kind of felt it. But he was part of the church, and he does say, and this happens a lot of times, that people are running away from it because society still treats it as a negative, unfortunately. Yeah. And so he was running away from his truth. So I'm very happy for him that he gets to lead an honest life and actually be happy.
Just love who you love, like who you like. Shoot.
Like who you like, love who you love. And so I'm happy for him to live his best authentic self. Because that's what we should be encouraging and trying to do.
Absolutely.
So I'm happy that now he can live in this truth. The trial of Derek Chauvin is still going on. The murder trial that put spotlight, but they're putting a spotlight now on the use of police force and how law enforcement needs better training. Because he says that this was something he was actually trained to do. And I think that comes off often, that when these things happen with excessive police force, that they say that that's part of the training, if it is or isn't. So,
wow, yeah, they need to do something, man. I'm telling you, because now remember, there's a lady, a cop, I don't know her name, but she went for the taser, but went for the gun, right? We talked about that. Same place too, right? Same state and everything. I don't know what to say, man. It just seems like then you got people saying, "Dear police, stop killing us." You know, something's got to be done.
I agree. Something has to be done. It's I think I've heard that you're taught to put your taser on your less dominant side. The actual Glock is on your dominant side. So, and their weight is different. You probably know this. You're a military guy.
Yeah,
that
it's
the
much
weight
different.
of those two things are not even the
Everything.
same.
Yeah,
is that
everything's
true?
different. Absolutely. A gun versus the little light taser is plastic. That gun is steel, it's heavy, you know what I mean? Yeah, so anyway, but, and she kept, I was listening to that. She kept saying, taser, taser, taser. That's to let everybody else know, the other police, that so they don't accidentally get into the ray of it or whatever. So I don't know, man. Like, and they say she still can go to jail for manslaughter, or what is it, unintended or unsomething manslaughter, because she still killed him. What is it? What's the word? It was a term. Anyway, so something's just got to be done, man. Something's got to be done. It's training. They pull those guns out way too early, man. Way too early. Sorry, people who love the police. I love the police too, right? But now they're pulling them out too early. Go ahead, Wanda.
Like you said yesterday, we need the police. We just need everyone to be treated the same when it comes to the police, I think.
Yeah. And some of my best friends are police from being in the Marine Corps. Like, I'm telling you, to this day, I got a bunch of friends all over the country. They either state troopers, still doing it too, right? And yeah, I went right into radio out of the Marine Corps. So I never got the police thing and all that, but I know a lot of my buddies, man. And so I don't have a problem with the police, and I get what they do, but I also get what they do too, right? So, we want me to tell you.
Marcel, the term is involuntary manslaughter.
Involuntary. The boy, there you
That's
is.
our whole
You hold us up, man. You hold us up. I couldn't think of that term. But yeah, involuntary manslaughter. So she's still going to get that charge. Go ahead, Wanda. What else you got?
So just a little bit of sports news as I wind down the buzz. Dennis Rodman's daughter has made history. It turns out she's an athlete herself after making the National Women's Soccer League debut at 18 years old. She is the youngest American goal scorer in league history. So she's leading her sport as well. She's on the Washington Spirit. I can't read my own handwriting, guys.
That's all right. I know what you're talking about, so I don't have a problem with it. Go ahead.
You don't have a problem with it? You better not have a problem with it.
I don't even know what the Spirit or what is it? I don't even know any
Soccer.
of the teams. I'm not a sports fan.
Sorry,
so
the National Women's Soccer League. She made her debut at 18. She's the youngest to goal scorer, American girl in the league history of women's soccer. It's soccer.
Right.
You never played soccer, I take it.
Never played soccer, but that's the buzz right there,
Wanda
y'all.
B with the buzz, Monday through Friday. Don't forget, share it out, retweet, do what you got to do. It's Wanda B, Wanda Buzz with the buzz.
With a buzz. Thank you, Wanda, for that. All right, let's get back to our sensational guest here, man. This has been a great. You know what? I would say this is one of the best shows. You guys can say what you want. I would say this is one.
Do you know you say that every day?
Well, but that's right. So this was one of the best shows. We didn't have the show yet. What? We didn't have this show yet. Now, seriously though, and you know why? Because the information is so important.
It is.
And we can't even talk about this stuff enough. We can't, man. Because this is like the dude said. He said that you know, and I've said this before, and I'm sure many of you, teachers should be treated and paid like doctors. Doctors help people, bring them to life. Teachers give life. I still remember my teachers. Man, let me tell you something. I had a teacher. It's in our story, right? I had a teacher who was in the when I was coming through school. When I got to high school, I kind of leaned more to my creative side with art. Like, I'm a person who can draw and paint portraits of people. Never do it because it's just something that I can do. It's like writing your name. It's not a big deal. You know what I mean? I don't sit around. Oh, look at that. It's just not even a thing, right? And I was this Miss Louie. boy, it's amazing. I gotta tell the story because I'm in it now, right? Miss Louie, her husband. I remember we loved Miss Louie, right? She was an art teacher, so I was commercial art major and all that, which really hiked my grades up really high. I never had a problem with. I just got school. I just got academics, right? I'm just saying. I'm not a genius or anything. I just got it. But I remember her husband had come in, and I remember he just looked a little older than he looked older, right? Miss Louie was kind of young and cool, right? And later on, I found out maybe a year or so ago that he was one of the original Tuskegee Airmen. Now, I went into the military, so that's a big deal to me, right? And I remember when he came up, he used to come up to the school all the time, and we were like, why he here, right? With little kids. And he was one of the, and he passed.
You still do that, Marcel.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But I never got to.
Okay, keep going.
But you see how we all got a story. We all remember our teachers. This is how important they are. And if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be. That lady, believe it or not, did so much for me in my mental, right, when it came to school. So why do we do this? Why do we treat these teachers in school like it's nothing? I just don't get it. We just had an election, and everybody was like, me, ADOS. Ain't nobody say shit about the school. Excuse my language. But it makes me a little mad. It makes me a little angry. So anyway, if you guys in the Spaces room, if you got something to say, you guys have your mics on. Look, we're not trying to pull you out to say anything. If you want to say something, I just want to make sure we take care of you guys, and you guys can speak if you want. Go ahead. The mic's open. So go ahead and say what you got to say to her. Go ahead. Anybody?
Hello.
You're on.
So I want to hear one more time how to reach you. Did someone say something? I didn't mean it.
No, we're done. Look, man, we're gonna do it. All right. So, but yeah, how do we reach her? First of all, I can tell you go to myprepacademy.com. Hey, let me bring this back up on the screen here because this is some important stuff. Make sure you guys connect with this lady. You can call her at 407-603-9940. And if you're watching this on a replay, we don't have the graphic up on the screen due to me. Sorry. But you can wind it back on the replay. So once again, 407-603-9940. And I tell you, man, like, it's just so much you can get from Stacey, man. Stacey, I'm so glad. And I mean it. I'm so glad that you took the time out to come on here and share with us, for real. So anything else you want to offer before we get out of here?
I just want to chime in and say thank you, Wanda B. Thank you, Marcel, for bringing this to the forefront and having this conversation today. My goal is to change the way we think of education. Education is something that should not be put in a box. Like, it shouldn't be put in a box because it is so broad and it is so wide. And like you, Marcel, I also was more of a creative mind. And my children have gotten that from both me and their father. So they tend to do more on the creative side. And we have gone away from the arts as a society, and we need to embrace everything that education encompasses and just try to find that thing that ignites a person. Because once you do that, once a person is ignited in whatever space it is they occupy in this world, that is where they are happiest and that is where they are most functional. So if we could just get the word out and try to help people change the mindset and the thought process and even just spark the conversation to talk about education and to see education in a new way, we can truly prepare ourselves as adults and the children for a new day. So thank you for having this conversation.
It is. All right. So there it is, guys. Look, make sure you see it on the screen. Share her social media out. She's right there on Twitter, so you can find her right there. And in case you need it, can I make this bigger? I don't think I can, but share her out on Twitter. Please do this. Is at the @ Stacey Cakes _FL. The FL's for Florida, so you can easily remember that, right? So it's at Stacey, STACEY Cakes. You know how to spell cakes because you be eating them, don't you? Stacey Cakes _FL. So make sure you share this out because just sharing this out helps her. All right. So we appreciate that. Stacey, I can't thank you enough for real. I love these. And listen, anybody out there, if you have something like what Stacey's doing, if you got a business, look, this is part of the show. It makes our show cool. You know, I think so anyway. So come on, hit us up, man. DM us. Let us put you on. We're giving you a perfect stage. We don't just put you on and talk to you. We put your website on, illustrate you. We give you the time because it's important. It is important. Let's use this social media. Don't let social media use us. Got to use it the right way, guys. I'm a big supporter of that. All right. So I've run my mouth enough. I know y'all tired of hearing my mouth run. I know you tired, Wanda B. I already know you ain't got to tell me. All right. So we're going to run our miles again tonight. Once again, y'all get ready because it's going down. Now, listen, got to be at least 21 to come into this joint tonight because I'm telling you right now.
What we doing? You got to be 21 for to talk.
Girls, relax. We're doing grown folks stuff.
This grown folks time.
Stuff, all right? Grown folks, relationships. Kids don't be in no relationships. All right. So that's what we're doing tonight. Get ready for that.
Be.
We got to get out of here. And, man, have you heard? Have you guys heard it all? What about you, Wanda B? Have you heard? Have you heard?
What?
Dang, you took you forever. I was waiting for you to say heard what? Have you heard what they're saying about us,
Here's
girl?
what people are saying about Wanda and Marcel.
What's up, Savvy?
You ever made me that before? I love that. Savvy. Yeah.
Why do you like the show, though? Tell us.
Y'all are funny. Y'all are cool. Y'all get me a giggling, and I love to laugh.
Now, Mary, I encountered you the other day.
But I told a whole room of like 50 people, I'm trying to grow up and be like new media.
Shit.
All right. I like that.
That was perfect.
You're listening to New Media Tech.
Let's get it, boy.
Wanda B and Marcel.
There it is. A little shameless self-promotion there.